Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Journey into Comics with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
I am a god, you dull creature.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to a very special NateCast tonight. It is a balmy Saturday here in March, and I have a guest on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Shuddy Boy from the Mad Scientist Party Hour.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not too bad.
So, for those people who don't know you, fill them in a little bit. Give them an idea where they can hear what you do, because I listen to Mad Scientist pretty much every week, and it's great, honestly. Quite a good show.
Thank you very much, dude. I'm one of 3 co-hosts on Mad Scientist Party Hour, part of the Riotcast Network. We tell a lot of dick and fart jokes. We talk about, well, I specifically talk about getting drunk. We talk about comics. We run the whole gamut of things. It's a nerdy comedy. Listen to a bunch of idiots talk about fart and poop. I mean, it's really, it's not very highbrow, so it's really...
But that was like the best description.
It's true. It's like when we were at Ellis Mania, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody was telling their friend that they should listen to us, and I was like, wait a second. Are dick and fart jokes in your wheelhouse? Do you find them funny? And she was like, absolutely not. And I'm like, then please stay away.
Do everything but listen to this podcast.
Yeah, if you do one thing for the rest of your life, do not listen to our show.
No,
because it will not sit well with you.
No, one thing and I actually said this while we were in Vegas. I don't know if I told you this, but there is a funny word that your show used that you guys coined that I just find so funny that I say it randomly when I'm talking about different things. But the word marijuana bowls is so fucking hilarious to me.
I don't even know that I remember ever hearing that said.
Yeah, Kevin says it all the time. Like when, like before the Jeffy Cakes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at least from the times I've listened, he said it a couple times there. I hope I'm not thinking of something else. That would be really embarrassing.
But I'm also throwing back shots of beer at that point. I mean, I'm getting drunk while we do the show. So
also true. You do
there are
like to do
lots
your
of things
power
that
hour.
Go over my head.
Oh, shit. So, where they listen to you on the Riotcast, I personally just check you guys out on iTunes. It's the easiest way to do it.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher. If you go to riotcast.com, you can listen to us stream there. We record Sunday nights, so we'll be doing it tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to drop. And then we release the show the next Monday. So we record and release right away. We don't tend to store onto them unless we know one of us isn't going to be around for a while. But we've gotten to just taking breaks lately instead of recording episodes in advance.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of a thing Brandon and I fell into is, you know, either we can record or we can take a break, but we don't really store up a lot of, like, you know, offhand episodes because we like to stay on topic of what's, like, current, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. If we talk about a movie we saw 2 weeks ago and then play it, you know, now, it's not, who knows if that movie will even be in theaters, but it's hard. We can't talk about current event type things if we put them in the can. Plus, there's very few times throughout the year that we don't record. So it doesn't hurt for us to take a couple weeks off around Christmas time just to recharge and come back at it all guns.
Oh, did I lose you?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, you're good, you're good.
Okay.
That was a weird lapse in the audio, folks. We apologize. But moving on, again, I will plug you guys 100 million times. Go check out Mad Scientist Party Hour. If you are into the dick and fart jokes and all that thing, they're fucking hilarious. I mean, simply put.
And check out our website. It's puminati.com. We run a blog there, which you actually are contributing to now. So thank you very much for that.
Hey, you guys asked me, and I really had no way to even think about saying no. I was like, yes, I would love to write for you guys, like, without question. So they can go to puminati.com, or am I telling people this right when I say that they can go to puminati.wordpress.com for specifically the blog half of that?
Yep, absolutely. Puminati.wordpress.com.
Awesome. So I sent you a link the other day about this gigantic fucking dog.
Yeah, Hulk.
Hulk. This dude is like, what, 150 or 175 or 157 pounds?
He is an 18-month-old pit bull that's 175 pounds.
That is insane. He's still going to grow.
Not too much more. I have a chocolate lab pit bull that's a little over a year, and he's like 35 pounds.
just to put into perspective how big this dog is, I mean, the lady in the first video I saw, the dog's head was bigger than most of her torso.
Yeah, the dog is just gigantic. And he has the sweetest possible face in the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
like he is a gigantic dog, but he does not look like he's got a mean soul and a mean bone in his body, even though he is gigantic.
I mean, that's one of those things you'd never want to see that dog get pissed at you. I mean, ultimately, because that dog could ruin you without even trying.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the crazy truth. But you ended up sending me a video of Hulk, and I don't know where you found it, but it's awesome. Hulk is singing along to someone playing on a harmonica.
It popped up in my Facebook feed the day after you sent me the link to the article, and I was like, this has to be talked about. Because, yeah, he's just, the little kid is playing the harmonica, and every time he blows into it, the dog kind of howls along to it.
Yeah, it's fucking adorable. If that dog ever has dogs or pups, this is a whole new like rare breed of animal because their size is just so massive.
Yeah, I can't believe how gigantic this dog is.
Like, I don't know about you, but when I first saw like video and stuff, I was like, is this just photoshopped? And it's like, haha, you're like being funny?
I had seen a picture of the dog, the one with him sitting on the scale with the woman next to him. And I saw that a couple of weeks ago and didn't really pay any attention to it. And thought that it was fake, but obviously it's not.
That dog is insane. So, now that we've talked about the dog a little bit here, I gotta ask, because we're here and now, and we don't get a lot of bad movie reviews. But I figure, for the fun of it, let's get a Shuddy review on the movie you saw today in theaters, which was 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Shit.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Yeah, it was everything that Kevin said on our show about the writing being pretty infantile. It was just, there were things that happened that I was just like shaking my head, cracking jokes during the movie. It was an experience. There were some genuinely funny moments though.
Okay.
But the dialogue was not the best.
Well, I mean, you know, the book was a success, I guess, for women who want to get themselves off reading a book.
I mean, by all accounts, the movie is a success. It had like a $40 million budget.
That's crazy.
And last weekend alone, it's made $147 million total in the 3 weeks it's been out, not counting this week.
Yeah, so I mean, it is really drawing huge numbers, I guess, but it seems like every person I talk to, even fans of the book ultimately, go, well, I saw it, but it wasn't what I wanted at all.
Well, I mean, I don't have any firsthand knowledge on the book, but from everything I've heard, they've had to tone it down.
Well, I mean, you can't have an NC-17 movie that's gonna,
Make
pull.
money, just like how they redid Wanted to get back to comics to make it more
Exactly. That was a great
more
movie.
appealing to the masses.
Yes.
Wanted was a very good movie when not taken in the context of the comic book.
Yeah.
I saw the movie before I read the book.
And then that's weird. I did too. And then you went back and read the comic, and you were like, "Wow, the comic did it way better." Obviously.
Yeah, and you're like, well, now I understand why the movie is completely different, like everybody is saying it is.
Yeah.
Because you can't have the main character running around raping people for the fun of it like he does in the comic.
I know.
Like, oh, it's Friday night, I'm bored, time to go rape and pillage. That,
It just that would not translate well to screen, anyways.
like, Kick-Ass 2, another example.
Did Kick-Ass almost have an NC-17 on
Well,
it?
no, but his girlfriend, the night, whatever her name was,
Oh, Night Bitch.
it was either her or his regular girlfriend in the second series. She got raped, and then they turned it into just a severe beating in the movie. It was Night Bitch.
Oh, wow. I have not yet picked up any Kick-Ass graphic novel, not because I don't want to, really because of how I collect. Being a single issue collector, I want to just get the sets and then read the sets,
They are well worth it.
Everyone tells me that, and I know I can already tell you I know that they're going to be exactly the kind of writing I like. So I just need to play the eBay game that I like to do and hope to catch something good.
His style of writing in general is phenomenal.
Let's see, Mark Miller, right?
Yep.
So
So, Secret Service.
with The Kingsman,
Yep.
that just came out. You saw that movie. You gave
I
me
did.
an amazing review of that movie. That was like the funny. I'm like, hey, just give me the cell. Why do I want to see this? And if you want to just tell me exactly what you said, that'd be hilarious.
I said heads explode, people's heads exploding, and anal sex. That was basically what I told you. People's heads explode, and he has butt sex with the Princess of Sweden.
Yeah, I think the way you worded it though was so funny. You're like, she gives up the butt.
Yeah, I was so wasted when we were talking about it.
Hey, we were in Vegas.
We were.
You don't have to say anything else. We were in Vegas. Exactly. So let's move on down. I gotta know, man, I had this crazy moment where I was online the other day and I read a headline and I immediately thought like the absolute worst thing had happened. And I thought we had lost another legend in the sci-fi movie universe.
Just the action movie universe in general.
And action, yes, and such an icon in Harrison Ford. Luckily, he's going to be okay, but man, what a crazy thing to happen to him, right?
Yeah, the first I heard about it was Harrison Ford was in a plane crash, and status of his condition is unknown. And it's like, what the fuck? Barely a week after Leonard Nimoy passes away.
Yeah, and it was just like, no, I know they come in threes, but not this one. Like, let's not go back to back.
Not after he signed on for the Star Wars movies. He's going to do Blade Runner 2.
That's going to be sick.
I don't know. I've never actually seen the first one.
I think you'd like it. It's knowing your style, I think you'd actually really enjoy that movie. It's an 80s movie, so that's going to tell you a lot.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, I mean, some of the best movies came out of the 80s, especially in this generation, from your Ninja Turtles to RoboCop, Batman, Terminator.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghostbusters, right? I mean, the 80s
Which,
were kick-ass.
I don't want to backpedal like I do on the party hour, but the they showed 6 trailers or 7 trailers before 50 Shades,
Oh yes, the
and
trailers.
they were all really girly movies, except for smack dab in the middle of them was a Terminator Genesis trailer.
Really?
Yeah. So we've got. I was so enthralled by the trailers, by just how insanely girly they were. I took a list.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
it was Magic Mike 2, which is called Magic Mike Double XL.
Of course it
Pit,
is.
Pitch Perfect 2, then Terminator Genesis, and then Trainwreck: The Age of Adelaide, The Longest Ride, which is a Nicholas Sparks movie, and then Cinderella.
Oh wow, what a bunch of winning movies.
So, how Terminator was thrown in there. It was like they were throwing a bone to all the boyfriends who got dragged to the movie.
Right? Like here, we know. I mean, we know you have to be here. It's okay. Or it could be I don't. Who is the distributor behind the Terminator movies? Off the top of your head, do you know?
I do not, but
Is it Paramount?
I can find out.
I think it's Paramount. That's my guess. If I were to vote or throw my guess in there.
Let's see. Of course, I'm having a hard time finding it. Budget $170 million.
Dear God.
Paramount, you were absolutely right.
Cool. So I'm going to say Paramount might have just paid, whatever they had to pay to be on every movie's trailer reel. Like, hey, we need as many people to see this trailer as possible. We don't care if it's women, children, watch it. So that could be, but I think you probably have a better idea of what they were doing. They're like, hey, boyfriends, enjoy this.
Yeah.
Survive on this one trailer, because it's the last bit of manliness you'll have for an hour and 47 goddamn minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed it. I'm glad I went in with no expectations, but like I said, there were funny parts that I did laugh at.
Well, that's good.
So
I
it
mean,
wasn't complete and total misery.
well, and like I said off air, as long as you get laid in the end for seeing this movie, it's a win-win, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you don't though, then you're just like, motherfucker, really? You drug me to that thing with all that stuff, and then there's nothing? That would be a sad day.
About halfway through, she goes to me. She goes, "I've got to pee," and I go, "Okay, we can leave."
Yes. It's like,
It didn't work.
Oh, damn.
It did not work.
I just, I don't think I could even, like, I watched the first 20 minutes of the first Twilight movie, and I couldn't do that either. Like, mentally, I just couldn't allow myself to even try to enjoy it. So
Well, that's where we differ.
Really?
Because I enjoyed all of them.
Really?
Yep.
I wonder if it, I mean, you got to think, I tried the first Twilight, like, as soon as it came out on DVD. So, that's a much younger, less mature me. So maybe I'll give them a shot, especially if it's got your blessing. I'll check them out. It's got vampires and shit, right? Werewolves?
Yeah, they're girly vampires and girly werewolves, but I enjoyed it. I'm a big Kristen Stewart fan, so that was
She's awesome. She really
the
is.
main draw for me.
Heck yeah. Oh, man. Everybody over in the kitchen is talking so loud. I'm like, hey, calm yourself. Calm yourself. It's a party. Calm down. You sent me something today, and I tell you what, man. It literally had me laughing for like a good 5 minutes because I was just like, really? Like, it's awesome. I guess I'm still kind of shocked that in a comic book world where anything and everything is possible. I mean, alien couples and humans and non-humans in relationships and stuff, that two chicks kissing wouldn't be a big deal. but apparently it's been drawing some headlines.
Yeah, especially since in the New 52 they've made Alan Scott um, gay, and Batwoman has always been, or this version of Batwoman has always been also gay. That I don't understand why this is getting so much, you
But
know.
well, I mean, and part of me is like, hey, it's awesome because sure, add a little bit more sexuality to comic books. That's fine. I think there's a high populace of readers that could handle a little more sexual conduct in the comics and it not be weird, you know.
Well,
'Cause, you know,
the thing is that as much as a lot of people think comics are geared towards children, they're really not at this point.
no, they're
But
really not.
most of the comics are geared towards adult readers. I mean, anything that Image puts out, even IDW's titles like G.I. Joe and Transformers are still a little bit more mature than geared towards children. So I don't know what the deal is, why it's such a big deal. Even in one of the X-Men titles a couple years ago, two gay characters got married and people's heads nearly fucking exploded.
That was like right before they did the Marvel Now, right? Right before
Yeah.
they did their relaunch. It was in I want to say like Wolverine and the X-Men something maybe. I can't remember.
No, I want to.
Or was it an X-Men? I think it was. Wasn't it an X-Men book? Maybe not. I
It
don't
was
know.
an X-Men related title. I'm thinking. I want to. Huh. I keep wanting to think it was like New Mutants.
I think you are right. I think it was New Mutants. Actually, now that you say that. So while he's looking that up, I want to tell people that what we were talking about and all this sexuality and stuff, because I don't think we ever actually got down to
No, we didn't.
is that in the new publication of Harley Quinn, which I'm going to say I'm guessing is like maybe Harley Quinn 8 or it's got to be beyond that.
No, they're about 16 or 17 in.
I was going to say I'm so far behind on Harley Quinn that I actually stopped even picking it up. I was just like, not right now. I'll get back to you when I get a chance.
Surprisingly, I didn't really like it.
Really?
That really bummed me out because I like the character, and Jimmy Palmiotti is probably my favorite writer.
And the book just fell flat with you, huh?
Yeah, it just was too. I don't know. It was a little too campy, which is what they were going for, and it's been a really good seller for DC. And I picked up a few issues here and there, trying to get back into it. But it does what it needs to do, and as long as it keeps people reading it, I'm all for it. But it's not. It hasn't been on my pull list since about issue 7 or 8.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, they're at issue 15. Issue 16 is coming out
So
this month.
what we're about to talk about is in issue 15.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So essentially, Harley and Ivy are sharing a drink together, and Harley is just pouring her heart out to Ivy, who's listening, and just trying to say positive things. And of course, Harley starts kissing on Ivy, and then they tumble to the floor, and more dialogue. Their lips are getting closer, and they never actually seal the deal. Someone, I think, walks in the room. Is that what I'm seeing here? They get interrupted?
Yes.
Damn. Of course they would get interrupted, But it's playful, and it's, whatever.
It's more of an implication than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. So, is Harley Quinn bisexual? Cool. That's fine.
I'm gonna go with yes because there was an article not that long ago, about why she was such a successful character, and in it says that Paul Dini, the creator, hinted several times that there was more going on between her and Poison Ivy than everybody thought.
That's awesome, actually. And it's funny. A lot of people in the more modern era, if I were to go poll, 50 newer comic book fans on the street, they would say, oh, Harley Quinn's just a staple part of the DC universe, and she's always been alongside of the Joker. And it's funny to me that most people don't know she was actually on the Batman animated series first and then jumped to comics.
And she was created initially to be just a one-time character. There was never any intentions when she was created that she was going to stick around. She was going to have the one appearance in the episode of Batman Adventures or Batman the Animated Series, and then that was it.
And then she just became a fan favorite.
She became a fan favorite, and they put her more in the shows, and then she showed up in the comic based on the animated series, which is on my list of comics to own before I die.
Me too. Adventures of Batgirl 12.
Batman Adventures 12.
Batman Adventures 12.
But it's crossed out, and it does say Batgirl, but
it's
right. Going for stupid fucking money.
Yeah.
Stupid money. The kind of money where I would probably be sleeping outside if I spent on a comic.
Right. I've got a couple of those. Obviously, Walking Dead #1 or 2. Chew #1. Those books are all in the high range that I'm just like, I can't afford you, even though I want you.
Yeah. I mean, they're going for $600-700 unslabbed.
That's crazy.
One sold on eBay for $1,450, CGC 9.8.
Damn. So Slab doubled the price on that book.
Yeah, but you also get charged an arm and a leg, and slabbing to me is not worth it. That's a whole nother conversation.
No, and it's funny. We could totally have that conversation. Just because tangents. I told you I have Tangent City over here. I'll just talk about whatever because I don't care. But I am very much a firm believer that books should not be slabbed. They're meant to be read. And I don't know. Yeah, it's nice. It's going to be forever immortalized, and you know how high of a quality it is. But that's not why I collect ultimately,
Yeah, exactly. They're made to be touched and read and looked at. And I have one slabbed comic that came in a collection I bought, and I haven't cracked it. But I mean, it just sits on my desk, kind of as like a ooh. Look I have a Batman #200 that's slabbed.
Oh.
It's a 4.5. It's worth like $35. Like, it's not, but, okay. So why somebody would send it off to get slabbed is beyond me, but,
I mean. It's all about what people see in their own stuff,
Yeah, it's just something nice to look at, but I wouldn't get anything slabbed. I mean, to send something out that has a high value and trust in the care of somebody else, I don't know that I would do that.
Yeah, actually, one town over from us, Valparaiso, Indiana, actually they have a shop that sends your stuff to CGC, like they are professionally tied to them or whatever. So they make sure that everything's 100% the whole way. It's really nice service that they have. Again, it's funny, you only have one slabbed book, I've only got 2. One also in a collection. I have 4 copies of this book now, and I just happen to have a 9.6 slab of the Twin Towers issue of Amazing Spider-Man.
Which I had and sold and regret it.
Do you
terribly.
Need that?
I don't need it.
Would you like it?
I would.
Let me find one of my extra copies, and it's yours, man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I mean, like I said, I have like 4 copies of it. One's a slab.
When I started Red K, my little comic book store, I was going out and buying collections left and right, going through and selling the high dollar issues. Then when I started really seriously collecting back issues, it was one of those like, why did I fucking do that? Well, I sold it for some money, but now I could have the first appearance of Loki in my collection if I wasn't a moron about it.
Wait a minute, you had the first appearance of Loki?
I did.
Ouch. That one hurts.
Yeah, it was like a 2.530. It was, I mean, in the condition it was in, it was only worth like $250, but still.
First appearance of Loki.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there.
We're talking Journey into Mystery. It was like 2 issues after
Thor?
Thor.
So it'd be 85. Journey into Mystery 85.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. No, the second slabbed book we have, I actually went out and intentionally purchased already slabbed. Sarah's a big fan of Adventure Time.
Okay.
And so they've got the Adventure Time comics.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be on eBay one day, and some guy was selling a 9.8 sketch cover Adventure Time #1 signed by Pendleton Ward. Like the creator of Adventure Time. And I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and buy this because obviously, you know, that's awesome. So she's got like in the first, I want to say like 18 Adventure Time, she has every #1 or every variant version of the comic. Like she collected them hard. So that's kind of the thing she did. And then I saw that and I was like, okay, easy, I'll buy it. And it hangs on our wall right now. It's cool.
My hallway is filled with comic books.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
And I've already designated space in the living room for the DC movie cover variants.
Those things are so sick.
That's I'm in love with them.
I am getting ready to place my order with Midtown, and they right now have 5 of them. The Justice, was it Justice Society United or Justice League United?
Justice League United.
The Mars Attacks one they've got on there.
Right.
They've got the Action Comics Bill and Ted, the Matrix one for Grayson, the Green Lantern Space Odyssey crossover.
Yeah, I got the Detective Comics Matrix cover, the Grayson Enter the Dragon cover, and the Green Lantern 2001 cover this week.
Super sick. And like I said, the ones that are yet to come are like even cooler.
The Justice League Dark Beetlejuice cover
is amazing. Just with Deadman right in the center playing Beetlejuice. Zatanna on the side. Oh, it's perfect. I also really liked I thought they could have picked a better movie for Batman than The Mask, which is based on a comic.
I like that they did that, I think. Because it works well with the Joker.
It does work well with the Joker.
I love the campiness of the Aquaman Free Willy cover.
That is too funny. I agree. I absolutely love that one, and then I really like that Flash one they did with the North by Northwest crossover. Like, there's something minimalist and cool about the Flash running. I don't know.
I don't know about the Justice League Magic Mike cover.
That's a little strange, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, really?
But the Superman Wonder Woman Gone with the Wind cover is really cool. The Teen Titans Lost Boys cover.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. You'll have to send that to me.
They're up on puminati.wordpress.com.
Oh, really? You posted an article about them?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bitching about how DC is going to take all of my money next month from Convergence.
Oh, it starts next month already. That's so crazy.
And now they're going to take my money this month because of the movie variant covers.
Yeah, but you know what? The movie variant covers are cool as hell.
Yeah, and I don't buy a lot of variants, but I've gone on, DC has bent me over the barrel a couple of times, like the 3D villain covers. I have all 52 of those.
That's pretty badass that you actually have the complete run.
I have the complete set of the Future's End Hero 3D variants. I have the complete set of the DC Bombshell variants.
I think I only have 2 of the Bombshells. I think the 2 Batman titles that did them. Maybe just 1. I missed
3, and I just got them in the mail a couple days ago. So now that's complete.
That's like the best feeling, isn't it? When you're like, oh, here, let me complete what I was doing.
Yeah. I love it.
It's sad though. I mean, first of all, let me say that the first 3D covers they did, the Villains Month back was it September?
It was a couple Septembers
Or
ago.
I guess it was now 2 Septembers ago. Wow.
I was in California when they came out,
Oh wow.
so I had to make sure I had to like get up at fuck o'clock in the morning and call the comic book store to make sure that they were setting them aside for me because I wasn't going to be in for them.
Oh, that sucks.
And they're like, "Of course we are," because I'm the idiot who spends so much money there.
Yeah, well, and
Like-
that's one thing that you got to love about your comic shop, though. If you build
Oh,
a rapport
absolutely.
with those people, they will just do the nicest things.
Yeah, it's great. Because
So
if I want something, I just call and ask. And they're like, "Sure, we'll set it aside for you."
no problem. Yeah, I was going through that kind of on Midtown because I knew, like I said, man, my comic shop, they don't get a lot of variants, if at all, because they're just in such a small location, and they're not ultra busy, but they stay busy, I guess. And I knew I wasn't going to get the villain variants because they told me straight up, we're not going to have extras. We have we're probably going to get 3 per book, and we're going to have a hard time figuring out how to allocate those to people.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm going to go on Midtown every Wednesday morning as soon as it updates and just order. If I literally just put an order in for just the 3D books, then that's what I'll do. Doesn't matter.
Can't you get a like on a pull list with them where you don't have to order every week? You just tell them what books you want and they ship you and charge you?
I'm sure they do, but I've never even explored that. I've never even explored that option. I'll have to check that out. But I know they do because they've got an option for pull list. I just never thought to do it because I was always like, well, what if I don't want to read something this month? But if you can tell them what you want and what you don't want them to send, that's awesome.
Yeah. I would definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Because it makes life so much easier. I just walk into the comic book store and they pull out my bag and hand me my stack of comics.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and that's the only bad thing about, you know what? That's actually, my comics did not come in, and they said they shipped, so that sucks. I have to wait till Monday. But with the villain variants, like I said, I was getting up early and trying to order them. So every order came in great, except for the week that they released the Bane Batman cover, which I think that was week 3. So I order with Midtown, my shipment gets here, and the box on the top right side is completely crushed in. And I just went, motherfucker. Like, I knew. I didn't even have to open the box. I knew they were destroyed. I knew. So whatever, I opened the box anyways, and they are just devastated. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, now I'm going to have to shop on eBay to get a brand new variant. I really don't like doing that because people jack the price up ridiculous.
Especially when they were first coming out.
Oh my God, it
and
was stupid.
The allocation had gotten so screwed up for them. Like, they let stores run amok and order as many of them as they wanted, and then all of a sudden said, you know what, we're not printing all of these, so you'll get X number of what you ordered.
Yeah, which absolutely sucked.
Which screwed a lot of people, I'm glad I have the standing I do at my comic shop because I was, one of the first people who got it put in their bag each week.
Heck yeah, that's elite status. That's what you are with your comic
So
shop.
I didn't have to go searching for a single one. I bought them week they came out for cover price.
That's the best. I mean, if you can get away with getting the variants at cover price, that's the way to go, ultimately.
The problem is when they're incentive variants, that's when they get pricey.
That's actually funny story. That was the first variants I ever purchased in my modern collecting of comics because I was only back issue collector for a long time. And then I saw Sarah's brother had bought Batman number 13. That was during the Death of the Family, the die-cut Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's really badass. I need to start reading again. So I, kind of went haywire on it and ordered, a lot of Batmans. I was going somewhere with this, and my fucking brain doesn't work. God damn it! Ow! It'll hit me sometime. I was gonna say something, and I can't even begin to place it. Oh well, we'll move on. Doesn't matter. Fuck it. That's my brain, Shuddy. That's my brain.
I hear you, buddy.
So, I really, really wish I had I hate to say it like this, it kind of sounds homoerotic, but I really wish I had the endurance to go 29 hours. But I don't know about you, but I think it would be really fun to see all of the Marvel movies in order leading up to Age of Ultron.
I completely agree. I couldn't do 29 hours and not sleep most of it away.
I know. Like, honestly, I'd plan what movies I really don't need to see again. Like, I'd be like, okay, I'm napping during Incredible Hulk. Like, maybe I'll catch the end. I want to see Tim Roth get put through a tree. That was pretty fucking amazing. Maybe I'll sleep, like, half hour somewhere during the first Thor. There's a slow lull there.
Yeah.
Try to plan my naps, but I'm not going to do it. I already did pre-order tickets to see Age of Ultron. I am extraordinarily excited for this movie.
The new trailer that they just put out just completely blew my mind.
I mean, and the crazy thing is every trailer they've released causes more questions than answers, and that's a good thing.
That is. You're absolutely right.
Because now you're continually guessing. Okay, well, what are they going to do next? Well, I thought this was going to happen. Why is this happening? One thing I loved about the trailer, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me, personally, my favorite Avenger in the Marvel universe is Vision. So to finally see Vision for the first time in that little mini clip of
at the very end,
4 seconds, was just like amazing. He looks so good.
He does, and that's I'm real excited to see Vision because I think that's going to be a cool character, and they're trying to with what's going to be coming on, with Civil War and things. They need to start adding more to the Avengers, like hopefully Spider-Man.
I don't know if you saw this, but when they released the trailer, or not the trailer, when they released the official movie poster, there was one little line that a lot of people are referencing and circling that additional music was added by Danny Elfman. And I don't know if you know why that's so huge, but Danny Elfman did the original Spider-Man trilogy soundtrack.
Right.
So, do you think we might either get a post-credit teaser for Spider-Man arriving in the MCU, or do you see him somewhere secretly fitting into the Avengers movie, and they've kept it like the best-kept secret ever?
I don't think they'd be able to keep something like that. With how quickly things leak these days, I think it's going to be an after-credit sequence.
And then, as Brando and I talked last week on the show, I'm going to ask, who would you pick? Do you want it to be Peter Parker? Would you prefer it to be Miles Morales?
That's such a tough question. I think we've talked about this through text. I like both characters. I don't think we need, if it's going to be Peter Parker, it's got to be a reasonably grown-up Peter Parker. I don't think we need a third origin story.
No, I do not want to see him bit by a radioactive spider. Because it's creepy every time. I don't care. The first Spider-Man, I hated the spider that landed on him, the blue and red spider. And then, in The Amazing Spider-Man, the fucking spider chamber was like my biggest fear.
Are you afraid of spiders?
Oh, hardcore parkour. Like, I hate spiders.
I just think that if they do it with Peter Parker, they need to do it where he's already an established hero.
That would be, that's the way to go.
I really like the Miles Morales character.
Me too. I think
I've been
Miles is a
reading-
great Spider-Man.
I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man basically since. I mean, I read the first series, and then I didn't start picking it back up until it switched over to Miles being Spider-Man, and I've read it since then religiously. I think it's a great book.
I totally agree with you. I love the story that they're doing with Shield right now and Hydra, and Miles Morales having this huge secret tie to both factions essentially.
Yeah.
With his girlfriend Katie, right? That's her name.
Yep.
Her dad is Hydra, which is kind of funny
Well,
to me.
her whole family is, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Her mom and dad are both Hydra agents.
And then, Miles' dad is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., or was, past tense. One of Fury's hired guns, which is really cool. Well, that story was really neat, how they did they went back and talked about, Miles Morales' dad coming up.
I was glad that they told that story.
It was
because
very well done.
Because up until that point, I thought his father was a complete shithead.
Especially, did you read Cataclysm? Sorry.
No, I ducked out on Cataclysm.
So I read it, and there's a really poignant scene in that's actually more recently referenced back with Miles' dad leaving him.
Well, that was also in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, did they do that in Ultimate as
Yeah.
well? Where he revealed himself to his father?
Yeah.
And then his dad just deuces, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, without any explanation, he just took off.
Dickhead. That's the worst thing you could do to your kid if my son told me he was fucking Spider-Man,
just immediately after Venom killed his mother,
I would kind of be elated, Yeah,
but there was foreshadowing up to that point where he was saying that how Spider-Man was a menace and he didn't like what he was doing, and so his dad was anti-Spider-Man from the jump.
Yeah, and then now he's come full circle and he's like, listen, I wasn't mad at you. This is what I really need to tell you. I have a secret that's probably as dark as yours, and maybe I've done worse, working for Wilson Fisk, which is, again, I love how they just utilize different characters like that,
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk on before we get ourselves close to the wrap-up here, we're around a month away from the Daredevil series coming out on Netflix.
I'm really excited for that.
So pumped. I will probably power watch the season in 2 days.
Yeah, that's the problem with shit on Netflix.
Yeah, because you just get it all right then.
You can't pace yourself at all. If it's good, there's no pacing yourself.
Well, and with the way Marvel writes, you have to just kind of know it's going to be good. I mean, I still don't think Marvel's made a bad movie. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it started so slow, and we were talking about, you said you kind of jumped off it recently.
Yeah, I jumped off of it around the time in the first season where they realized that Ward was the bad guy.
Which is... the Ward character actually becomes such a comedic character unintentionally, late into Season 1 and in the early parts of Season 2. But see, knowing now what they're planning with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how that's laying the groundwork for the Inhumans movie, I am so focused on just watching and seeing what they do. That is
the one reason I've wanted to get back into it. I didn't have any idea until I saw headlines about Inhumans showing up.
Well, without spoiling too much or saying too much that's going to give plots away, there's a device there's a crystal called an obelisk, and ultimately that's going to possibly unlock this potential, and a thing happens, and then it's the quote-unquote birth of the Inhumans. And then we come back from the jump, and it's this really great story where the team is kind of split in half over how they feel about what's happened.
So, are they doing it was it Infinity? That just happened where a bunch of Inhumans were born?
Yeah, exactly, right? The Terrigen Mist causes Inhumans across the world to pop up. Indirectly, yes, that's kind of what they're going for. but I think they're going to try to start it on a smaller scale and then maybe build up to having something like that happen. I just know that the writing is starting to, like I said, it's finally picking up to the point where I saw that, holy shit, I missed the episode that for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's back on. So I went and I downloaded it and I watched it immediately. And I was like, oh, like, I like this show, I guess, because I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed every minute of the most recent episode. If you can squeeze yourself through a really slow season 1 and really kind of a slow first half of the second season, like the last 5 episodes before the mid-season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are really what sold me on the series. And then, like I said, coming back from the jump was absolutely great, and I'm excited to see where they go from there. But I don't think anything right now on TV tops really Arrow or The Flash.
Yeah, they're so good. Another one that I'm excited for is iZombie.
That's coming out next week when Flash and Arrow return. Yeah, so I'll be checking that out too. That's also based off of a comic book.
That was very good. I read that one, start to finish.
Hell yeah, I just got handed a glass of wine, or a shot glass of wine, I guess. I don't know. It's like a mini... It's a brandy glass. Sarah.
Ooh, you guys are fancy. You have brandy glasses.
We found them in Sarah's grandparents' house. Just like, fuck yeah, brandy glasses, okay. Ooh, Moscato. It's tasty. It tastes like grapes. Moscato. They're making fun of me, and I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like, they're all in there laughing. It's like, now you know what it's like to be the kid who gets his gym shorts pulled down in front of the whole entire class. You don't know why they're laughing, but they're laughing, and you know that you're the cause of it. So, fucking. Anyways, what? Okay, we're. I swear we're just all over the place on topics, but like I said, it's a NateCast, and I'm having a lot of fun. I like having you on.
Yeah, so am I, dude. I would do this as frequently as you need me to.
I'm all for that, actually. That's cool. There's only one issue about you not living close. Is when we do like I don't know if you've listened to our show a bunch or if you've kind of been here and there.
I've been here and there. It's so hard for me to find time to listen to podcasts.
I was actually getting ready to tell you the same thing. Like it is extraordinarily difficult to not only maintain your own podcast, but to also listen to multiple podcasts.
Yeah.
You got to kind of find the one or two that you really, really hone in on and just jam it. Luckily for me, one of those is Mad Scientist Party Hour. The other is Fat Man on Batman.
Luckily for us, one of those is Mad Scientist Party Hour for you.
Dude, look.
And I also love Fat Man on Batman.
It's so good. The Mark Hamill episode was so fucking good.
See, that's one I haven't listened to yet. That's on my iPod listen to.
It will blow your mind, because Mark Hamill can, I swear to God, man, jump in and out of the Joker like it's just a part of his life. He can just be talking and instantly go into that Joker voice, put chills on your arm, and you're like, whoa.
It blows my mind that he was the voice of the Joker for all those years.
I mean, right? And the crazy thing is actually he was a fan of the animated series, not just because he was in the animated series. He actually loved the writing. Like, that says a lot that he loved that show. Like, him and his family sat down and watched that show.
That's something I need to get my hands on, because when that came out, when I was, a preteen, when that was out, that wasn't my thing at all.
Okay.
So I missed out on it. Like, I just started watching Batman Beyond not that long ago because it's on Netflix, and I love it, but just could not get into it as a kid because I was Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
It had come out just towards the end of my cartoon watching age, and I just never got into it. But now that, and I wasn't really into comics back then. So
it's like we had the same path, but just slight differences. That's so strange.
Yeah, like the way it happened was just one year out of the blue, my cousin got me a bunch of comics for Christmas. And And I was like, it's been a long time since I've read comics, so what should I read? And then I discovered Watchmen,
So fucking good.
and that book just like made my fucking head explode. And I just started buying new comics left and right. When I first started getting into comics again, I was buying $80 to $90 worth of books a week.
Oh my god. I
A week.
spend 80 to 90 bucks in like a month on comics. That's insane.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I was spending 80 to 90. I mean, I was unemployed, but I had income, and so I had nothing to do with my day, so I was buying $80 to $90 worth of comics a week. So we're talking 20-ish comics a week.
I mean, sometimes I let, like, okay, honestly, if I go on Midtown and I see that I'm only ordering 2 books, it's not worth it to me to ship 2 books. So I'll let those 2 books sit for a week or 2 until I've got, like, $50 worth of books, and then I'll place my order,
Yeah, at this point, I've got it whittled down to where I'm buying, before my discount, I'm buying like $35 worth of books a week.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's about what I average. Like I said, about 30 to 35 a week for me,
And then I
Somewhere
get
in
a
there.
25% discount because I have a pull list.
Yep, makes it easy on them.
So, yep.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. So, do you remember, like, 20 minutes ago when I couldn't remember what the fuck I wanted to say? And I went on
Yes.
this weird tangent and I couldn't get back to it?
I don't think it was 20 minutes ago, though. I think it was more like 5 or 10.
Well,
But yes, I remember it vividly.
no concept of time right now. So, let's get into it. All I was going to say is that because you were talking about variants, and I was going to say that the first new book variants that I ever purchased were for the Avenger vs. X-Men #1,
Okay.
and I have all of them. Like the 1 in 10, the party variant, the I'm with the Avengers, I'm with the X-Men variants, the 1 in 50, the 1 in 25, the 1 in 100, which is a normal, it's like, I want to say Cyclops fighting Cap, and then the 1 in 200's the sketch variant, because,
See,
that's how Marvel does.
the only one, the highest I'll usually go is 1 in 50. Usually, after that, it gets too rich for my blood.
Well, that was a one-time purchase, and then I realized how I wanted to do variants. And I mean, for a while there, I was only collecting, like, for miniseries, I was collecting, like, the 1 in 25 or the 1, like you said, the 1 in 50 variants. So, like, I have all the Age of Ultron, the entire Age of Ultron run, and then all of their, like, 1 in 25 and 1 in 50 variants. So I've got some pretty cool ones there. And then the same with Infinity. That was such a good series.
Yeah, I have the first issue of Infinity, but I have the store variant.
Oh, the one that's like half grade?
It's got Thanos on the cover, but it's in black and white. And it was just, they were sent out specifically to the retailers with their name on it.
Awesome.
It's they had, for the stores who had like the release party for Infinity.
Your store had a release party for Infinity?
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that. Our shops don't do a lot of big events. I mean, they'll probably do one for Secret Wars, and they'll probably do one for Convergence like the first week. But outside of that, they're not going to do anything.
That was the... they even, I think, had Rags Morales there to sign.
Nice.
Not for that, for the Adventure Comics blank cover. But my store does some stuff. But yeah, that's the most expensive variant I've ever bought, and that was $100.
Hell yeah. I think I asked
you. And it was one of those things, he caught me on the right day. He's like, do you want this? I was like, yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Don't you love how that happens? Because I'm just like that too. I can go into the shop one day, they'll be like, hey, do you want this? No. The next day, though, they might say the same exact thing, and for some reason I'm like, yes? What the fuck was I thinking? I absolutely want that. Man. This wine is tasty, by the way. How's your SoCo?
It's delicious.
Yeah, Moscato. I like saying Moscato. Oh, man. So, I want to run down a little bit. Let's talk about this Age of Ultron trailer, and then I'm going to maybe break some people's hearts and spoil the ending. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling, because that's like a real. It's. I told you about it, and I'm really happy that you're not gonna know. And I'm just gonna warn every single person right now: if you want to know, literally, if you do not want to have a single inkling of what the end might be for Age of Ultron, stop listening. When I tell you to stop listening, not right now, because we're gonna talk about the trailer a little bit first. What all did you see in the trailer that really caught your eye?
Everything. I love the Hulkbuster armor. I think that was one of the things that I just think is so cool. And I like what they did with the storyline, where it's Tony Stark that created it by accident instead of Hank Pym.
Well, I mean, they kind of had to, because
Hank hasn't been introduced yet.
Correct.
He won't be introduced until Ant-Man, and he's an old man at that point. No offense, Michael Douglas. I know you're a big listener to both of our shows, but
I know
you're not a spring chicken anymore, buddy.
Hey, I know. I mean, he's Michael Douglas. He's a very modest dude. He listens to gnarly nerd podcasts. We know his style, and as long as you're listening, Mr. Douglas, we thank you. I think that it would be really cool if Tony, because apparently Tony is the main creator with the help of Banner, that they bring Ultron to life. Ultimately, it's kind of a little bit of Banner's know-how with the ambition of Tony Stark that pushes the Ultron project into the forefront. But I would really like to see somewhere that they say, really this is based off of an early concept that Hank Pym had, and then people are going to be like, what? And then
that would be really cool that they were, Tony Stark had found some early research by Hank Pym, and he decided that he could do it.
Like he could do it better because, he's cocky-ass Tony Stark. So obviously that would be the way to go. I do agree, by the way. I love the Hulkbuster armor. I'm excited to see that fight sequence. Although I will say it's kind of obvious what they're planning. And I think it's been obvious as early as the first trailer that a lot of the weird shit you're seeing, Tony fighting Hulk, the different scene of like Thor when he's in the water and he's screaming for no reason, and all these different things are just Scarlet Witch playing with their minds.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be awesome that they're going to do this like dark, death, dreamy, weird sequence where she's going to fuck with every Avenger. And
now, how far into the movie do you think it is before her and Quicksilver turn?
Well, you got to think based off what we've seen on the trailers, the early part of the thing, they're going to all be in Avengers Tower with Ultron, or, really they'll probably do some kick-ass action sequence to open the movie. Let's be honest here. Once the action sequence happens, whether they're going to save somebody or someone's in a rough spot and they're all trying to come together to work as a team, then they'll move on to the after party where they're all hanging out in Avengers Tower. Ultron makes his initial debut, but then there's a couple forms of Ultron that we'll see before we see Ultron Prime, the final form. So I'm gonna say they probably turn right after the first quarter of the movie. Like, within the first, 40 minutes, they'll probably...
You think it's that soon in?
I mean, you would almost have to, because again, the movie's going to be 2 hours and change long, but you got to think, you're going to, at some point, turn Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch back. So you got to have time to build them back into being good guys. I mean, I would hate to see it be the final sequence where they're like, oh, shit, this guy's going to kill everybody. Let's be a team now,
Because in the trailer... The only time you see either of them working with the Avengers is near the very end.
Oh, when they're in the circle, right?
Yep, when they're fighting back to back, Scarlet Witch is there.
Yeah, and again, there are two main elements that are missing from that scene, which make me think that it's probably not the end of the movie. Maybe that's like the midway or a little over midway point. Because you got to think they're going to, at some point, the Avengers are really going to get their asses handed to them by Ultron or the Ultron
of course,
drones.
they're going to get their asses handed to them at least once.
So, the one thing that's missing from that scene where they're all in a circle is you have no Quicksilver and you have no Vision. Both of which are actually really key elements to the movie. You know, Vision's not going to get killed off in this movie. Quicksilver, you're not good. I mean, that's not the way to.
Quicksilver wouldn't be fighting back to back because of how mobile he is.
Well,
so not seeing him in the scene, he could be off doing something.
That's very true. I mean, you kind of took the words out of my mouth on that one because, yeah, ultimately you would hope that. But not seeing Vision there, again, Vision is also very mobile with flight. So is he doing something as well? What else happened in the trailer that was... We're seeing more Hawkeye. I'm trying to think of like some of the bigger moments that happen. Obviously, we talked about
some sexual tension between Black Widow and Bruce Banner.
Right? Which is funny because, again, the first person that Mark Ruffalo's Banner had any interaction with was, in fact, Scarlet Witch in the first Avengers.
Which was a great scene in that movie.
It was so good. You know, are we alone? Yes, you know, and then he, stop lying to me, and she freaks out and pulls her gun. He's like, I'm sorry, I was just being a dickhead. You know, it's such a classic
And the house
scene.
is surrounded by everybody.
Totally surrounded. Like, guns drawn and everything. Like, we're going to shoot him on sight, no questions. One thing I want to talk about, and we just on the fly talking about this trailer. Do you think the Soul Gem is what's in Vision's head?
It would make so much sense with the way they're setting it up for, you know, Infinity War.
Oh, which that can't come soon enough. You know, like it's very much like we were talking about with Daredevil, how you can't pace yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's all there at once. If all the Marvel Cinematic movies were right here, right now, I would be all over it. Like, they would own my life.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, do you know, I've probably seen Guardians, maybe 40 times, realistically.
That movie was so good. I got tickets to see the 17-minute preview in IMAX.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And that, I didn't get to see that, but from what everybody said, it was just like, okay, validation, this movie's going to be...
Yeah, it was basically the prison scene.
The prison scene's so funny.
Yeah, it was so good. They left a lot out. There were things that weren't in the preview that were in the prison scene, but, like, when I saw that, I was completely sold.
It's like... And actually, I told Sarah this. We went and saw. Make sure I get this right. I think we went to IMAX 3D to see Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think we are in agreement that movie is absolutely amazing. Although there's so much negative bullshit behind the Amazing Spider-Man series, that's for a whole nother podcast. Like, we could seriously talk for.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. And honestly, if they were to just have Andrew Garfield be Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent.
Absolutely. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with anything they did. But that, again, a whole nother podcast. But when we went and saw Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 3D IMAX, they had the trailer for Guardians tagged onto it. And the trailer alone in 3D was like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. This is the only other movie I need to see this year.
Yeah.
And, of course, went on to drive people insane over how much I talked about Guardians, because it was like, I'm telling you guys, this movie is going to be great. And, well, I didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
I'm now very anxious for Ant-Man, because I'm hoping that that brings a whole different element to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, a heist movie that's got a lot of comedy, that's not too funny, but not too serious.
Have you been reading the new Ant-Man series?
Oh, yeah. And
I keep forgetting to pick up issue number 2, but I really, really enjoyed issue number 1.
issue 2 was great, and issue 3 comes out this next week, so you're gonna
I
have
better
to.
pick them both up.
Yeah, you better do that. You'll be very happy that you did. It's so far it's a great story. I love that they're telling a very interesting Scott Lang story. The whole idea that he had to try to prove himself to Tony in the first issue, and ultimately successfully did prove himself, was awesome. And then in the second issue, you have an even crazier situation that Scott Lang gets himself into. That just like it's part of me thinks that Marvel, when they're sitting and they're talking about what they're going to do, they just like have a hat of random shit that doesn't make sense, and they pull it out and they go, yes, that's perfect, and people are going to love it, and I don't know why. But all I'm going to tell you, issue 2, Nazi robot.
Nazi robot?
Yes. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
All right, that I will definitely be picking up.
Yeah, I'm just over the moon. So, Shuddy, I'm gonna unfortunately mute me from you for a second, if that makes any sense.
Yep, that's fine. I'm prepared for it.
Just again to give our listeners a super fair warning, I am about to drop a really legitimate spoiler that might have really big implications. I don't know if this is officially the final scene because I didn't see it, but I'm going to set up everything that's going to kind of explain what's going on, and then I'll close up. I'll bring Shuddy back on. We'll talk for a few more here, and then we'll end the show. So this is your last chance. If you don't want to be spoiled on Age of Ultron, you probably want to I'd say skip probably 4 or 5 more minutes of this episode, and then come back. And just know that if you don't hear Shuddy talking, probably means I'm still talking about it, and you might want to wait, or he's drunk, really.
I'm a little bit buzzed.
It's okay.
Let's not go so far to say as I'm drunk.
Oh, I'm sure. Trust me, I know it takes a lot. You don't even have to. Vegas, that's all I'm saying. Anyways, so I'm going to close you down for a minute. Well, not close. You know what I'm saying. Fuck it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Last chance. We're going to go spoiler status. Are you listening? So I was on Google the other night, and I'm going through my phone, and I'm trying to get a background for my phone, Galaxy S3. It's a piece of garbage. And I'm trying to look for pictures for Age of Ultron because I want an Age of Ultron background. And I'm scrolling through Google, and I see this thing, and it says, blah, 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 and I read the words, Vision kills Ultron. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is I saw a call sheet. And a call sheet's something they use in acting to let you know how scenes are being blocked off, how they're shooting things. Because obviously, if you know this, they don't shoot scenes in order. Because if they have to have multiple different scenarios happen in one location over the course of the movie, they're not going to go and leave the place and fly back or whatever with their entire production crew. They go to, they're shooting in London. They're going to shoot all the scenes that need to happen in London, and then they're going to move on to their next thing. So a call sheet number 62. Someone's selling their entire set of After Party. That's important. Someone's selling their entire set of After Party call sheets. They're a member of the cast or crew or some relative of a relative, something untraceable, essentially. They're selling them on eBay, and it just happened to come up in the Google thing. So what did I actually see? Did I see that it said Vision kills Ultron? No. It said SION kills Ultron, and the scene is in the woods. So does that mean we're going to have a big final battle in the woods where ultimately it comes down to Ultron versus Vision? Ultron actually, in the comics, he created the Vision, but that's not how they're going to do it, obviously. So will that happen, or is this just saying that there's an Ultron drone and Vision's in the forest and happens to just take him out. And I don't think that's the case. So I'm almost certain that I unfortunately, if you're listening to this part, that means you now have the burden that I have of knowing that it is in fact highly plausible that the end of the movie of Age of Ultron is Vision killing Ultron, which is a total fucking bummer. I was trying to make sure Shuddy stayed away from it, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and bring him back. Let's see where he's at. Still with me, my friend?
Still here.
Fuck yeah, okay. I spoiled it for whoever ends up listening to that part. It's a bummer. I just told them. Honestly, it's kind of a burden to know that if what this alleged spoiler, what the implications mean, it's kind of like this thing, like, shit, why is it on my conscience? Now I got to think about it all the time. You know? And the crazy thing is there are people that are kind of fighting on both sides of the spoiler. Some people say that the spoiler means one thing. Other people say it means a different thing. So I guess in some light to all of this, I get to still go in with not 100% knowing. But if we're like 5 minutes away from the movie and the specific scene that was talked about just back then hasn't happened yet, I'm going to probably go out on a limb and say that it was the worst case scenario for me to know that. But if it happens like in the first like hour, cool. You know, that's not the end.
Yeah.
I hate spoilers, man. I mean, I have to report spoilers because that's the show, but I just wish, me and Brandon have talked about this a lot, think about like 1989, or actually it would more likely be like 1987/88 when they were filming the Michael Keaton Batman. There weren't set pictures that people leaked somewhere, or no one didn't know a goddamn thing.
The internet has made it way too easy.
It is really a very unfortunate thing, the internet, in some aspects. In other great aspects, you're in Pennsylvania, and I'm in Indiana, and we're talking. So thank you, internet.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of cool. But on the same aspect, it's just like, all these spoilers. There's spoiler after spoiler after spoiler. So we've been really Marvel heavy pretty much the whole episode. Little bit of DC sprinkled in there. So I'm going to close with this because it's a fun little question. Shuddy, this is the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll get ourselves out of here and go about our awesome Saturday nights.
Sounds good, dude.
Zack Snyder's Unite the Seven campaign, talking about Batman vs. Superman. We know for sure that there are 5 members. You've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Ray Fisher's Cyborg. Who are the other 2? What do you think?
Well, you're going to have Green Lantern.
Obviously, is it Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Thank you.
No. As much as I like Ryan Reynolds, and I didn't hate him. As much as I didn't hate him in the Green Lantern movie, the whole thing was a flop.
It really was.
I think he would be a good Hal Jordan, but I don't think it's going to be him. He's off doing Deadpool. I think if they're going to use a Jon Stewart Green Lantern this time around.
I'd be excited to see a Jon Stewart Green Lantern, honestly. I think that'd be a nice change. It would be fresh. We were just talking, and I can't harken back to what we were actually speaking on, because that's how my brain works. We were talking about another character, and Miles and Parker.
Right.
Right? Okay, so just like that, Hal Jordan is, I'm going to say this, arguably the most well-known Green Lantern.
Absolutely.
But Jon Stewart is arguably more popular.
It seems that way.
I mean, really, really, when it comes down to it, I like Jon Stewart just a little bit better. I don't know.
Because he's not as, for lack of a better term, as cocksure as Hal Jordan is.
That's the best way to put that.
He's a little bit more unsure of himself than, I mean, Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner are different ends of the cocky spectrum, but they are both so sure of themselves that in their eyes, they're never going to fail. And then you've got Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner, who are unsure of themselves. Kyle Rayner's kind of a crybaby at times, but they're both on that end of it, where they're both a little bit more realistic about their abilities.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. I agree. So,
And I think that's why a lot more people relate to Jon Stewart, because he doesn't see himself as infallible as Hal Jordan does.
okay, I agree with you very much on that. Very very well said. So, how we've got what you think is going to be Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. So who's the seventh?
The Flash. That's already been confirmed.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Ezra Miller has been cast as the Flash. I guess that's true. So that brings me to my final question about DC. Do you think DC's making a huge mistake not using Grant Gustin as the Flash?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm not familiar with Ezra Miller.
I don't think I've ever seen a single movie he's ever been in.
But all the pictures I see of him, there is nothing about him that makes me think.
I think there's only one way they could do it. If Ezra Miller is Wally West.
I don't even see him as Wally West. Wally West had red hair.
Well, that's true, and they can CGI and color, and they can change it. But
color his hair, but I don't know. I think Grant Gustin is just doing such an amazing job that I don't know. This Ezra Miller has kind of as girlish features.
Ugh.
In my opinion, he's very effeminate looking.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's but and then again, the kind of the issue also in talking about the Flash as a part of the Justice League is maybe in a good sense, the Flash TV show will be its own entity, and it will be so big that no matter what movie they release, it's not going to really affect the show.
I hope. Yeah, I hope not.
And I mean, we're narrowing down here to the end of this first season of the Flash, and they keep impressing me even more every episode. So to see what they do for the finale, I mean, and to say the same for Arrow is just I'm chomping at the bit here. It's like let's get to it.
Glider is going to be making an appearance.
Sweet. On
Flash. She is Leonard Snart, Captain Cold's sister. Part of the Flash's rogue gallery, the Golden Glider. So that's cool. That has me excited. I really like everything they've done from the moment he showed up in the mid-season to mid-season finale of Arrow.
Yep. All the way back to episode 8 and 9.
Like that, I think that was such a great way to introduce him. And then give that lead up. So he's been in a coma for, 6 months.
Yeah, and then
I think
to have Caitlin and Cisco also helping the Arrow team before the crossover officially happened was huge.
Yeah. And I mean, those two characters, you've got Vibe and Killer Frost already in the universe. So I think that's amazing. And I really like how they did Firestorm.
Firestorm has been fucking awesome.
I do not have one complaint about Arrow. Except I think Iris is a little cunty. Pardon my use of that word. But
no, you know what though? Iris
this whole her getting jealous.
She got what she deserved, man.
She's with somebody, and Barry says he loves her. Spoiler, sorry. She doesn't do anything about it. Then he starts dating a girl, and then she gets all fucking claws out, like, that's my man kind of bullshit. No, you had your chance, bitch.
Yeah, and
that whole dynamic I don't like. Just I've started to really think she's kind of a bitch.
Okay, so then I got to ask, because I think I have a good idea of what Flash is going to do here at their season finale. I'm pretty sure that we're, eventually going to see Iris end up with Barry.
Oh, absolutely, because I think even though it's been revealed that Harrison Wells is Reverse Flash, I don't think it's out of the question that there are two of them.
And I think Eddie's the second.
And Eddie's the second, because that scene where they're in Star Labs and the Reverse Flash stops nose to nose with Eddie
and doesn't touch him.
I think that leads me to believe he joins forces with Wells when Iris leaves him for Barry.
That's exactly what I was going to say, as a way of, like, he wants to seek revenge on Barry Allen, so he, finds out a way to utilize Speed Force. Maybe Wells can't use the yellow suit to go to the future to do whatever he's got to do, so maybe he teaches Eddie how to go to the future with the tachyon particles.
I don't think you can have a character named Eddie Thawne not be involved in the Reverse Flash mythos in the show when he is such a big part of it in the comics.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Eobard, right? That's how you say it? Eobard?
Eobard, I really don't know. It's fucking weird.
It is weird. It's a weird-ass first name. But you know what? At the end of the day, man, I can't wait to see what they do with the Flash. Gorilla Grodd is coming. It's going to be fucking fantastic.
Oh, when he showed up at the end of the last episode, it was amazing.
With the General Island?
Yeah, even when they teased him earlier in the season, when they just showed the empty cage that said Grodd, that was enough for me.
Yeah, and then, the Not God Grodd line, like, raised the hair on my arms. I was just like, oh, yes, this is what I want. And right now, please, Yeah,
I cannot wait.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I want to, again, thank you for coming on the show. You came over my show. It was fun.
Thank you for having me. And again, I will gladly do this.
Well, you know what my plan is? Next time I want to have you on when Brando's on so we can all fucking party down and talk.
Sounds good, dude.
I think the three of us, he's more video games and he knows a lot about comics, and he has a very high opinion of what comic book characters he likes, and I think he has great taste, so I think you guys will mesh well. Other than that, man, thank you again. Everybody, if you are listening, check out Mad Scientist Party Hour on riotcast.com or go to iTunes. Check out thepuminati.com, where I'm featured writing blogs now, which is super exciting. Just wrote the Why You Should Watch The Flash for the people that are still living in a closet. I really shouldn't have had to write that article, but there are still people I'm like, hey, why aren't you watching this great show? And they're like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Dicks. But anyways, Shuddy, once again, man, thank you. We'll have you on soon. Be safe in the land of the cold.
Oh, you too, man.
Yeah, we're almost out of it, though, luckily.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Journey into Comics. I'm your host, Nate Phillips, and we'll see you motherfuckers next time.